Hey, what's going on? This is Sunshine.
And E
Oh, yeah, and what time is it?
is story time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is story time once again
Story
with
time.
the E Shine.
Oh, that's right. And, we're going to get into some stuff. This time we're going to give you a real kind of weird, I guess you would say, scenario. I mean, this is the weird month. If, like I said, you go back in time and look at this or go further in time, and which is good because this has something to do with what we're going to do. But this is in October, the weird month, the Halloween, the trick-or-treat month. But let me ask you something. I'm going to mention 3 names. And I'm sure there's people out there that know these names. I'm not sure if you knew. Art Bell, George Norrie, Ian Pundit. You know mean anything to you? Ian Pundit.
No.
Okay. With those who know, I'm sure someone's looking and say, hey, I know. There's a radio station and this thing called Coast to Coast. And this is a station that's kind of...
I've heard of Coast to Coast.
You heard of Coast to Coast, yeah. But there's a particular show that these guys... I can't remember, and you all can tell me. I know out of those 3, Ian Pundit was probably the last one. I don't know if he's still involved. It's been several years since I listened to Coast in their particular show. I can't remember. I think Art Bell maybe was first. I can't remember if it's Art Bell or George Norrie. But anyways, these guys ran a show, and they talked about a lot of different things. Those things that people are a little... maybe afraid to talk about. And that situation kind of puts you in that little kind of weird moment. And they talk about things like time travel. They talk about maybe like seeing ghosts, like there's had a lot of people said, I've seen these people from outer space, different things. I actually had an experience, not necessarily with outer space, but I know we was driving, me and my cousin was driving in a car, and we looked through this building. We seen this funny object up there with lights and stuff. And we kind of figured we didn't really see this, or there's some obvious explanation to it, because everybody's walking around, and I know they could see it, but they didn't make, no one was like, hey,
but you two saw it.
But we two, well,
why you never told me this?
I thought I told you that
no,
before.
You never told me this.
But anyways.
So, but if y'all saw it, everybody else
they should have, but that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking that it's something that was normal with like, oh, that's just so-and-so. Because we were just kind of driving through this area, and these people were from there, obviously, because they're out walking around, going to stores and stuff, and they looked at me like, I'm like, you see, but we just figured that, okay, man, there must be something that's explainable that we don't know. Because I see the locals are not moving or doing anything crazy, so that's what we thought. So, having that premise, here's the scenario that we want you to deal with. I just wanted to put you in that mind frame of time travel, unexplained things, and what you would do if you were in a situation where you came across an unexplained thing. Here's the scenario. People know if you know us, know we're avid travelers, love to travel. So a lot of my situations in these scenarios, you're going to end up in the car. So you're in your vehicle. You know your vehicle well. You're driving and you get to a light and you stop behind this car. Just a little side note. The people that's in the first car at the red light, please pay attention. Don't look at your phone. Be ready to move. Okay, let's go back to the story. So you're behind this car and you're like, oh, man, that's the same kind of car as I have. No, I'm just sick of people just sitting at the light and they got to honk the horn because they're looking at their phone. And then you're the 4th or 5th car back, and because they sat so long, the light ended up catching you.
Oh, okay.
The first 2 people, y'all don't get to look at nothing but the light. Everybody else can maybe do, but you two got to be ready to go. Okay, so you're in your vehicle and you pull up behind this car, same kind of vehicle as your car. No big deal. No, unless you got some specially made car, there's going to be a car. So you look at same color, everything's identical, excluding the tag. So you look at the tag and you go, okay, wait a minute. That's the same tag as me, that I have. And you look and you're like, wow. And you went to a particular college and you was kind of fond of that college, so you get a little sticker from the college and you put that on the back of your window. You notice that was on the back of the window too. And previously, you had some kid next door, he threw a baseball and it put a dent in the back of your car, you meaning to fix, the parents already paid for it, you just got to get it fixed. The dent is in that car. The question is, what do you do in this situation? And I want you to consider all the issues that I've talked about with Coast to Coast. Of a lot of things, and I'm going to get to something a little later that kind of coincide with that Coast to Coast deal. How people think, or what people think are true or not true. But in that situation, what would you do in that situation? It seems like a crazy situation, but even all the other things, the most important thing is the tag, because they don't give out identical tags. You could be
so who's in the car?
That's the question. You can't. You're behind.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So my question is, what do you do in that scenario? Now the dent could be coincidental. They could have probably went to that school at a different year that you went. And everybody might have that, not a car, people have that color car and type of car. But the tag is an original. Everybody gets just that one. They don't give it out twice. What would you do in that scenario?
Okay, so I'm going to go based on something my mother said way back when I was a teenager. And she believed, and I thought, I was like, what are you talking about? In what they called jinns. They call them jinns.
Okay, jinns. I'm not familiar with that.
It's almost like, someone said, oh, you have an angel, or you have it's a good and a bad and a whatever. Well, jinns, and this is how she used to explain it. I'm just going to say, this is how she used to explain it. Like, you take this bottle of water and you sit it right there, and you're like, well, where did a bottle of water go? Yeah, it's not there. And then you're looking,
and then it's there.
And then it's there.
Wow.
She used to say they used to have jinns, or there are jinns that mess with you like that. And I thought my mom was like, Mom, why did you think? And she wasn't crazy. My mom was very sane, very intelligent, everything. I'm like, what? So, and as I got older, I kind of saw it kind of happened.
Wow.
To me. So she said she was walking down the street one day, her and another sister, and they're walking down the street, and as they approached this car, what they saw before they got to the car was what were those dogs? Not a Doberman. It's in a Doberman family. Not a Rottweiler or anything like that. But at the wheel. At the wheel. True story, though. She says a true story.
Now, is this a gin or she was drinking gin?
Listen, my mom didn't drink.
Okay, I was just wondering.
I'm sorry. In her younger years, she drank, but at this time, she wasn't drinking.
Okay, so
she wasn't smoking either. Gotcha. So, nor drugs. My mom wasn't like that. So, they would not look at the car.
Wow.
Because they felt like that would disturb or interact whatever that jin's purpose was.
So now the person in there, they was on that jinn philosophy too? They understood that too?
Who?
About the jinn?
The sister was walking with her? Yes.
Okay.
So to this day, I don't know what was really in that car. Well, anyway, so with that being said, if you didn't know and you looked like that was your car and you would have thought, if you mentioned time travel and if that's something you believed in or whatever, then probably wouldn't look at the car and just ignore it and just go on as business as usual.
Right.
Everyone says, now this has nothing to do with the car, and this is a true story, and I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but everyone says everyone has a look-alike. Okay. And I remember being in the mall one time with a bunch of church members. We went after church to the mall because we had to, so everybody in the choir came. I was in the shoe store, and everybody in the choir came running in there. Hey, come on, you got to see this person. You got to see her. And it was like, she looked just like me. And I was like, really? Come on now, really? And I'm like, taking my time, because I'm like, what are the chances? So I finished ringing up whatever. So we were walking down the mall, and they said, oh, there she is. And she was coming our way at that point. And actually, as we looked at each other as we passed each other, that was the first and only time that ever happened. And it looked like me walking down.
Wow, okay.
But we were going in opposite directions. Weird.
Now this is pre-cell phone days, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because if you had a cell phone, would you have took a picture with the person? Would you say, hey, because y'all both was on the same...
Probably would have taken a picture.
Right.
But I guess I'll finish too.
Okay.
So probably would have taken a picture with her. Same scenario, our daughter. I was at a medical facility, and my grandson's father, biological father, he was killed years back, and this guy was sitting there, and you could tell he was sick. He was really sick, and like he was with a girlfriend, wife, I don't know. And when I kept looking at him, had cell phones at the time. I wasn't really good at using my cell phone, but he looked so much like him. I asked. I was being polite. I didn't have to ask, but I just wanted to be polite. I said, do you mind me taking a picture of you? And he said yes. He didn't want me to take the picture.
Oh, is that right?
So I never took the picture of him. But I promise you.
Yeah, no, I sneak him in.
I didn't do that. I was respectful. He looked sick. He looked like he was really sick.
Yeah, just so people. I took, as a matter of fact, there's some pictures I got to show to people, because it's like, man, they look like a person. I take her. I find her. All you do is act like you're watching something or looking at something.
Just like I said, I wasn't good with. I was new with cell phones.
Right.
Not new with cell phones. New with camera phones.
Right. Okay.
At that time, because the first cell phones didn't have cameras on them.
Right.
But yeah, and I just wanted to be respectful, and I tried to tell him why, but he was sick. He wasn't trying to hear it. But I promise.
So you saying you wouldn't? You would just kind of go the gen route and say, just move on. Well, for me, when I think about that scenario, I think about Back to the Future. If anybody ever watched that movie, I think of Back to the Future, where the doc kept telling the younger guy, which was Michael J. Fox, but he was telling them that try to stay out the way, because you don't want to interfere with what was gonna happen, because you're coming from the future,
right?
And you're going back, and then things could change. Yeah, you're going to pass.
You can alter
what happened. So in my mind, I would think of that, but I'm still going to find out who's in that car, because that person wouldn't know the me. If I'm in that car, wouldn't know the me is trying to see. And so I would try to just to look and see, and if I see it as me, then I would just,
if I knew, right. You said what?
Once I see it, and if I see it, well, I guess regardless if I see it's me or not, I would just let that person ride on. I just want to see.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I wouldn't interact.
I wouldn't interact.
Hey.
I wouldn't
interact.
I wouldn't come and like bump the backer so he'd get, hey.
It'll be different, like in my situation, where we looked alike. Whereas the scenario you talking about had a car, exact car, everything, make, model, color, all of that. That would have been really weird for me. So I wouldn't have interacted.
I had to see who's in there. It's just to get a little glance and see if it's in there, and then move on. Because I've kind of came across those situations where I seen cars that like, man, that's so and so's car, but then when you see the person, it's not.
Yeah.
So I've seen that where really, because a lot of times when you see somebody's car, there's always a little things that go, okay, that's that person's car. So I was a couple times that happened, but it wasn't the person. But in that case, that scenario, and I'm gonna tell you. Now I brought up Coast to Coast, and if we had started a channel doing coast to coast type things, which, like I said, I don't judge people on what they feel about certain things. There's certain things I feel that people are like, what? That's crazy, or like the touched by an angel type deal where people come. So I've seemed like I've had some kind of, and we'll do that later on again maybe, but I've had that touched by an angel situation happen. So I don't judge anybody what they feel about that. But if we start a channel on that, I'm sure there's so many people that had some kind of connection, something that happened, that we probably have 3 times as many subscribers as we have now. Because the people really, I think that's an area where what people think about them, they kind of maybe don't really want to come out with that. But when you got other people or a venue or a platform where you can bring that out and say, and because that's what I found at Coast to Coast, people was calling like crazy because they just like connected with those people that believe that too, So,
I mean, we could do a live on that. I mean, but as far as I don't know how we figure out how to call in, we'll probably have to. I don't know.
We're gonna figure. Like I said, I like that touched by an angel, man. I think we could. We could go live for 6 hours and constantly have people, if they're online, of course, calling in, and because I'm sure most people had a touched by an angel situation happen. And I don't know if you want to explain to people. I guess we get to that later. What the touched by an angel issue is, but I'm sure most people have had that or had some kind of. I don't know. I think I had a couple. You know what I'm saying? So.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what you mean by touched by an angel.
Just a touch by an angel, where somebody comes in your life when something happens, or a person comes in your life, and you don't know why, but it's just like they really wasn't there. They're there for purpose, and then they're gone, and you like, man, where'd that person go? What did or a situation where I'll give you a quick situation where we were driving when I was 10 years old or whatever, we was in the car and the lights kept going off on our cars at nighttime. So my father pulled over, tried to see what was going on, didn't seem like that was wrong. Got out to start happening again, I think the cop pulled, hey, your lights are out. He said, I don't know, I checked. He said, well, I can't have you out on the road. So we just stayed until it came light, got out and went and found out there was this crazy car pile up. So that's kind of like a touch by an angel situation where something helped us out that we, wasn't us. Something stepped in to help us, to save us in that particular situation, that situation. So that's what I'm saying. So those are kind of like the touch. Sometimes it's a situation like that, and sometimes it's an actual person, I guess, that you come encounter with that helps you. And like I said, that's one. There's a couple other ones I could tell. I'm not gonna get into it now. Maybe we'll do something special on that. But those are some of the moments. And like I said, we open the lines. I'm sure people have just story after story on that. So that might be something we could do live. If we get a good enough crowd that's wanna, comment and get involved. So, but we're gonna end this and get out of here. But before we do me a favor. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also share. Comment below, and I do believe that's it.
That is it. Thanks for following.
Sunshine and E.